morning. It's 5:20. Not a bad night. I think I checked the temperature one time and probably got down to about 8 or 9, but not bad. Rained a little bit last night. I'm getting ready to make myself a little bit of coffee now and just kind of slowly wake up with the day. He's trying to get in. Thank you, little guy, but I'll keep my blood to myself. Well, I had a quick look on my game camera. It doesn't look like anything walked past my tent last night, but these are new tracks. So at least 2, possibly 3, maybe 4 deer out here last night, because those weren't here last night when I was getting water. It does feel like the water's down a little bit. Didn't have to dodge the water so much over there where I get the water from. It's less sand over there than it is right here. Looking down the valley, that's a great view this morning. All right, get ready to make some breakfast. Thank you, campsite. That was nice. It's 8:26, so I was up at quarter to 7. So hour and 45 minutes. But that's with that cooked breakfast too. It's going to be a nice day. It's already about 10.5 degrees. I think it's supposed to warm up to about 14 or 15. So my first plan of attack is to go to the back to the hut, just a little bit of backtracking, and drink a whole bunch of water, and then load up again, and then head up the hill. Yep, that was worth it. Definitely worth it. It's a good night. Definitely worth coming down here for those. Now I have a choice. I can just go back the way I came, and that's about 3 hours, a little over 3 hours, or I can do the loop and go up the hill, which adds probably about an hour and a half. And I know right now I'm thinking, oh, definitely do the loop. I hate backtracking, but I know part way up that hill, it's about a 300-400 meter climb. I know I'm going to be hating it and wish that I had done the other one. But then I know that when I get to the top, there's pretty much of a gentle descent over the next about 8 kilometers. And I'm going to really be enjoying that. So, not in a rush. I'll just embrace the suck and head up that climb, and just keep looking to the top. All right, about 45 minutes back to the hut. Okay, so I filled up with water, drank some more water, stretched a little bit more, and here we go. So, kind of carefully looking at the map, it's about a 500-meter ascent. The first 100 meters looks a little more gentle than the last 400 meters. And I'm just going to take my time. It's only 9:30. So once I get to the top, it'll be all easy from there. Just got to endure going up. Well, first 50 meters done. Wow, that was on my hands and knees. But as you can see, it's gentle now. But I don't think it'll be like this for long. Okay, climb number 2 starting now. The nice thing about this stuff is, while it's short and sharp and it's hard, it's a pretty good amount of climbing meters. So this just gets me closer to the top in a shorter amount of time. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Stop here for a moment for the view. I'm at 700 meters, so about 300 more to go. I know I said earlier that I would be halfway, I'd be regretting this, but I'm really not. I mean, there's been some hard stuff, and I still have another 300 meters to climb, but frankly, I'm enjoying this a lot more than walking alongside that loud river. So yeah, this is definitely an enjoyable thing. I'd like to think that up there is the top. But I've done this before. Come around the corner or get right over the ridge and find there's a whole lot more to go. But certainly, it's got to be getting near the top, because there's not a lot of trees above it, unless there's a hidden ridge on the other side of that. This is the halfway point. 250 meters up, 250 meters to go. Oh yeah. Can you see the Mohawk right way down there? Another glimpse of those trees. Probably won't be able to see that. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. That's where I'm headed. All right, let's see if this shows how steep that section was. Hoping it would go all the way down, but yeah, that was a good one. Mohawk River way down there. Still hear that thing, but it's not as loud. All right, just a little bit more here. and enjoy the beauty, eh? Oh, there it is. Oh, woo! That is a good feeling. Oh. Wouldn't say I broke any speed records. Hour and 45 minutes. But I made it. That's cool. Let's see, how many kilometers do I have to go? Looks like half, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, about 5 kilometers to the road, and then about 2.5 kilometers, so a total of 8. There were difficult parts of that climb, but there was never a time where I hated it or I wish I hadn't come, which is kind of neat. Kind of happy that my mind handled that a little bit better. And now, if I can have this kind of slow descent, that climb will have definitely been worth it. This is the kind of stuff I don't feel like there's enough of in New Zealand, where it's kind of flat. Especially here in the Kauwak, man, it's either up or down. And we'll see. Hopefully this is, it looks like from the topo map that it's pretty gradual the whole way. Oh, that's interesting. That is pretty cool. I can't really, my torch isn't doing anything. I guess if you needed a shelter, this would be all right. I don't know that it'd be my first choice. Got a little water. I don't know that'd be my first choice either. Though I am running a little low on water, but I think I'm coming up to a creek the next 1.5 kilometers. What interests me about that little hut back there, someone had to lug all that tin for the roof. Man, some amazing people that are out back here. That would not be a fun lug, but guess if you really want something up here, you'll find a way. Yeah, I've gotten dehydrated pretty badly. Still have a little bit of water left. There was a creek that I thought I was gonna be able to catch up here, but now there's nothing. So I'm about 1.5 kilometers from the road, and it's pretty much downhill from here by the topo map. And then partway up that road, looks like it crosses another creek. So we'll see how I'm doing, but wow. And then what happens is, because I'm dehydrated, when I try to eat anything, I get nauseous. So don't really have the don't have the food energy either. There's the first side of the road. I'm way up above it. And we keep going down. This is what I'm walking down. All right. Ooh. Man, you parked here and this is the beginning of your hike. Wow. You're a monster. Okay, 2.5 kilometers back to the car. Oh, all right. Well, I made it. I'm out of water. I'm feeling decent. And I think this is pretty much the way this walking is going to be. Oh. So, big lesson learned. Take more water than you think. Now, while I'm walking, I'll tell you a little bit of story. If you don't want to hear this, just fast forward to the end. But about 20 years ago, this area is where I did my first overnight hike in New Zealand. I had no idea what I was doing. This is how bad it was. I borrowed a backpack and rented hiking boots. My backpack weighed 40 pounds. I'll put in a little bit what that was in kilos. 40 pounds. And I had a paper map. This was back before smartphones and GPS. But the paper map was kind of expensive, so I just photocopied the section that I was going to be hiking. It was black and white. So I get out of the car. There's across this turnip field. And at the other side of the turnip field, the path had that there were, on the map, there was 2 rivers, or 2 streams side by side. So I get all the way on the other side of the turnip field, and there's no stream. There's a fence. I'm like, well, that fence isn't supposed to be there. So I ended up, for the next 2 hours, walking up and down this hill, looking for a stream or 2 streams just past this fence, and could not find it. Now I'm carrying 40 pounds of my backpack up and down this hill. And finally I got to the point where if I do find the path, there's no way I'm going to make it to the place I'm camping out. So I'll just go over on the other side of the turnip field next to the river and set up my tent there. So that's what I did. As soon as I set up my tent and everything, I dug in and I found, and I had brought the good map, the colored map. And the first thing I noticed was that those 2 streams, one was black and one was blue. And then I looked at the key and the black line was a fence. I'm like, no. So I left everything and just walked back over to where I had first gone to, climbed the fence, and sure enough, there was the other stream and the trail that was really overgrown. But it was too late. I already had my tent set up and I was tired. And to make matters worse, I had decided that I was going to do a fast while I was doing this hike. So I brought no food with me at all. So went back, boiled up some water, hung my socks on the fence post, went to sleep. Next morning I woke up, there's frost on the inside of my tent, and it was a big tent. It was like a 3-person Kmart type tent, so it was heavy. And went out the tent and my socks were frozen on a front head was coming through. And by that time I was toasted. But I thought, you know what I want to do? I want to walk up to where I was going to spend the night, have a look, because it was like a little clearing next to a river that a dock worker told me about. And I'll just leave everything behind and just walk in, about 4 hours in, and then I'll walk back out. No biggie, right? So I start walking, and man, it's like almost immediately straight up this big climb, and I'm just toasted. And I finally get to the top of this climb, and I look at the clouds, and there are some dark clouds moving in. And it was probably the only decision that I made that made sense. And I thought, nope, I'm turning around. I don't want to be the guy on the news who was unprepared and got caught in the storm and froze to death out there. So I turned around and came back and gathered all my stuff up, and I actually tented probably no more than about 200 to 300 meters from my car. That's how far I got that first day. So yeah, that was my first experience. I went back up there the next year, a little bit better prepared, actually made it to the spot, planned on just hanging at the spot for a day, and got bored silly. So ended up coming back a day early. And then I didn't do any hiking for a long time. Not until 2018 when Taylor and I did the walk across Spain. And then 2019 is when I started doing the backpacking here in New Zealand. So that's my first story. I would love to hear some others' first stories. There's always got to be that first story that just is like, what were you thinking? And my answer is not much. Not much. Well, way back there where the water comes down, there's no way of getting to it. It goes under the road. Oh man, that's frustrating when you can hear the water but can't get to it. Made it back. Car's still here. It's always a good thing. Ooh. What a good trap. What a good trick. So, you know, I'm out of water. One of these campgrounds that says you can get water. So I find the place, but the plug, the handle is turned off. It says not for public use. I'm like, oh man. And then I remembered I've been carrying water because we have a small leak in our radiator. Ho ho ho, Barbie. I'm going to be enjoying that on the way home, that's for sure. Last little hurdle before I come out. It's this little crossing. And that's it. That's the last hurdle. Now it's just shingle road all the way to the main road, and then home. So this is the first hike of the season, and I want to thank you for joining me virtually on this. It's always nice feeling like you're talking to somebody. It doesn't feel quite as lonely. But thank you for taking the time to watch the video, and we'll see you next time.